or call 1-800-526-7.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support. Support comes from the Walker Arts Center. Did you know that the Walker has a cinema that shows film almost every week? From artist talks, genre-defined performances, and world premieres to archival shorts and experimental soundscapes, the Walker Cinema explores all modes of global and local filmmaking. Get your first tickets for free. Visit walkerart.org/cinema to learn more. That's walkerart.org/cinema. See you at the movies.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Rebuilding Together Minnesota provides critical home repairs and safety modifications at no cost to low-income homeowners, with a focus on supporting BIPOC communities across Minnesota, because everyone deserves a safe place to live. If repairs feel out of reach, help is available. Their work helps older adults stay independent, support families, and strengthens neighborhoods. Apply during the application window through March 31st. Visit rtmn.org and select Apply for Help, or call 651-776-4273. Rebuilding Together Minnesota, where neighbors help neighbors. Support comes from the Walker Arts Center. Local artist Rosie Simas, Seneca Nation of Indians, Huron Clan, embodies Onondaga philosophies of peacemaking and relationality in new immersive installation. Visit Agejagwa Desnigowaweni. I hope it'll stir your mind and explore a space built for communal rest and contemplation. Seamus presents a performance of the same name this May. Learn more about the exhibition and performance at walkerart.org.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, cloudy with a low of 16, then Thursday, sunshine with a high of 42. The Great Wall has been your home for Chinese favorites since 1981. Don't miss the sesame chicken, mushu pork with Chinese pancakes, or Peking duck. Stop in at the restaurant on France Avenue and 45th Street along the Minneapolis-Edina City line, or check them out at greatwallrestaurant.us.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut, hit me cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake. Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local, national, Native news and events, and as you know, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues. Well, we have our friend Arvina Matin on, our political consultant here, and Ho-Chunk citizen, and so we're going to be mixing it up tonight. There's a lot to talk about. I haven't talked to you since the end of the Olympics. There's ice in Wisconsin reported, and last night I couldn't bear to watch, but thanks so much, Arvina. We got a full hour together, and we have a lot to cover.
Yeah, it's been quite a week. And I mean, that's all I got. It's been quite a week.
Yeah, where do we start? I guess we can go backwards, and I don't know. The line, state of the state of the line, the State of the Union. I saw you posted that you were watching some of it. How did that feel? And I think for me, it would just get me angry because there are so many lies and misinformation, and it's almost like Arvina that he isn't doing the State of the Union and have like past presidents will have a future. This is what we're heading towards. It was the same rhetoric and the same talking down to people, the same thing he does every day. So it wasn't really that special.
No, I watched the whole thing, but I do have to say that my attention drifted elsewhere many times during the speech because he, you're right, it wasn't a state of our union. That's not what the address delivered. He even said it himself, maybe a third term. Yeah, I don't know. You never know what happens kind of talk. He loves this kind of opportunity to have a captive audience and just blather on and talk about how great he is. There was very little about things that actually affect people. He underestimated the average price of gas, saying that things are going down, and giving Americans money to buy their own insurance is somehow going to make things better, and then insurance companies won't be the winners. Not understanding how that works. And of course he had his snide digs in on he called out Nancy Pelosi by name. It was just an opportunity for his ego to take stage, and sure enough, he beat the previous record for longest held State of the Union address, which was held by him. And now he has an even longer. It was just short of 2 hours, and oh my God.
Well,
I was going to say,
go ahead.
I was going to say there were two notable absences in that speech, though. He didn't mention anything about Minnesota, other than vaguely saying that Somali pirates were ruining everything. And he did not mention the Epstein files, go figure. So talking about protecting kids and crime, there he goes. He's protecting pedophiles and his buddies that are pedophiles. And, you can't say you're protecting, or preventing crime or ending it when there's all of this evidence that is sitting in your Justice Department not having anything done about it.
Yeah. I just, I was going to say before when I accidentally interrupt you, it was like, I remember as a young child hearing about Adolf Hitler's speeches going on and on and on and on. And I don't remember other presidents going on like this and just talking dribble. But Ilhan Omar shot back, which, when you see, well, I got to say this, Arvina, and as a Native American, and I'd like you to comment on this, is that it really makes me want to look over my shoulder now when they say that there's 38% of the people that are still standing by him. That to me is I hope it's less, but oh my God, that's a lot of people.
I mean, it is a lot of people. And, I think we do have to be aware of that these, I live in Madison, Wisconsin, which is, a very, very liberal enclave in a state that is very purple. So you can go in other places in Wisconsin and see support for him. Even support from farmers whose farms are being sold out from under them. They can't afford anything, and they don't have any workers anymore, and they're still supporting him. But so it is a good reminder that, we might be surrounded by people who are, have empathy and care about what's happening and see this, attack on our neighbors, whether they are immigrants, whether they look like immigrants, or just people that are standing by, noticing somebody being attacked by someone wearing a mask and a tactical suit, it is a good reminder for us to remember, but it's also kind of alarming to see, like, well, what else do you need to happen? And there is a Reddit page, or a subreddit called Leopards Ate My Face, or Leopards Eat Your Face, from the joke about woman says, I didn't think the leopards would eat my face, and she's a member of the Leopards Who Eat Faces party. It's and it's sad. You see people that were like, yeah, I believe in what he says, and then their spouses, who are immigrants who have been in this country for decades, are being deported, and people that are losing their jobs, people that are losing their homes, their farms. And some of them do come to that realization, but then there are others who now know, and sometimes I wonder if it's like they have to keep thinking that they've lost so much that if they admit that they were wrong, they lose something else.
Do you remember, Arvina, during COVID, people were dying from COVID that didn't take the vaccine and could not believe it to their dying moments.
Yeah.
They were in such denial.
Yeah, or the people that were, dying as well, and then said, okay, I'll get the vaccine. It's like, that's not how vaccines work, and it's tragic. It's very sad.
Really tragic. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things too, we love talking about sports, and I'm a huge baseball fan, and I'm in the state of hockey here.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm thinking in a positive way, right on women's hockey, but also right on to 5 members of the male members of the men's hockey that didn't show up, and so good on them.
Absolutely. I, off the top of my head, can't remember their names, but I do appreciate them, and I think that they made the right decision. And those folks have to live with what they've done. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think I have the names here. I'll say the names here. Maybe it's way down my scrolling. Kyle Connor, Jake Gunze, Jacobson Lacombe, Brock Nelson, and Jake Otegany. Oh man, I destroyed those
guys. We appreciate you. Yeah, that's not sarcastic at all. This female athlete appreciates you.
Absolutely. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and we're with Arvina Matin, our political consultant, and we're talking more politics and how it affects Native communities across Turtle Island. We'll be right back. Support comes from the Walker Arts Center. Did you know that the Walker has a cinema that shows film almost every week? From artist talks, genre-defined performances, and world premieres to archival shorts and experimental soundscapes, the Walker Cinema explores all modes of global and local filmmaking. Get your first tickets for free. Visit walkerart.org/cinema to learn more. That's walkerart.org/cinema. See you at the movies.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Rebuilding Together Minnesota provides critical home repairs and safety modifications at no cost to low-income homeowners, with a focus on supporting BIPOC communities across Minnesota, because everyone deserves a safe place to live. If repairs feel out of reach, help is available. Their work helps older adults stay independent, support families, and strengthens neighborhoods. Apply during the application window through March 31st. Visit rtmn.org and select Apply for Help, or call 651-776-4273. Rebuilding Together Minnesota, where neighbors help neighbors. Support comes from the Walker Arts Center, an art space that's more than the spoon and cherry. Galleries celebrate contemporary visual art, including indigenous artists like Edgar Heap of Birds from the Cheyenne and Arapaho nations, and Jim Demeny from the Ojibwe Nation. Additionally, film screens, cinema, and performances are shown on stage. And the walker is free every Thursday night and free every day for citizens and members of tribal nations. Learn more at walkerart.org.
I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and I want to be your next United States Senator, and you are listening to Native Roots Radio.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. We are with our friend Arvina Matin, a political consultant out of Madison. And if you read the YouTube and the Blue Sky, Arvina was the first, what we call in Minnesota City Council, Native American City Council member. And we are really excited to have her and talk about politics and how it affects Indian country and in the 5-state area and in the country. Arvina, we left off kind of on the hockey thing here. We have more to say, and I know we during the football season really have a lot to say about sports. So the Class Act women hockey team, let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I have to mention that there were 6 UW Badgers or Badger alums that were members of that team, including Layla Edwards, who is the first Black person to be on the Olympic hockey team. So and they just got back. I'm so mad that I didn't find out that they were returning to Madison until the day after, because I would have been there with signs and streamers and noisemakers and everything to return them home. And, you know, you have to say this about the U.S. women's hockey program. It is dominant. The women's sport was introduced in 1998, and the U.S. women's team has won medals in every single one of their appearances since 1998. They have won as many medals as the U.S. men's team in like half the time. And so for the phone call from Donald Trump to be just like thinking of the women's team who won before that the men's team did as an afterthought is ridiculous. And making the women's athletes and women's athletics a joke is really offensive. We all know athletics and sports are important. It's important for kids to, try to find a sport or an activity that moves their bodies, to keep them healthy, keeping them engaged. Being in team sports teaches a lot about how to work with other people, especially people maybe you don't agree with, but to come together and work for something like a win. And when all of these politicians who are like, it was just locker room talk, it was just a joke, you ask them, well, what was funny about it? They can't answer. And I also want to say that these are the same people that are like, we need to protect women's sports and keep trans girls out.
Right.
It's when the actual National Institutes of Health has a study that shows that trans people do not perform with better results in athletics after they've transitioned. If they were good athletes, if a transgender woman was a good athlete when she before she transitioned, she'll be a good athlete after transition. If she wasn't, she does not get athletic skills magically,
Right.
So it's the disrespect. And I think that this whole conversation tells us who the true winner of the Olympics are. And I think we can all agree that it is Flavor Flav.
Yes. Explain to our audience. I know what you're talking about. Matter of fact, I saw your post.
Yes, and to think that this is the journey that this man has taken is wild to me. Flavor Flav famously saw that the women's U.S. Water polo team didn't, have sponsors. They all had to pay their own way and for training and stuff. And he said he'd be a sponsor and official hype man. So he went to the last Olympics and, he tried water polo. He was there to cheer them on. He's brought a lot of attention to that sport, and to women's sports in general. He came to the US or to the Milan Cortina games and, learned about bobsled and skeleton and tried both. He very brave. You could not pay me enough to like hurl myself down an ice chute on like knives
80
head
miles
first.
an hour.
Right? He tried it. He also decided, I'm going to sponsor the US bobsled and skeleton teams and also be their official hype man as well. So when he heard, and so he's all about this. And when he heard about what happened and how the women's hockey team was treated, he invited them to Las Vegas. He's like, I bet you I can get you free flights, rooms, shows, spas, and all from like posting online. Sure enough, Alaskan Airlines was like, we'll fly them out, and all of these businesses were like, we'll do it. And he has since opened it up to all of the female US Olympic medal winners. So they're all going to go have a night in Las Vegas with Flavor Flav, and he continues to build, and donate to causes to support women's athletics. And as a member of Public Enemy, they just re-released their song "He Got Game" and changed it to "She Got Game." And proceeds from that song are going to, I can't remember the name, but a foundation that supports access to sports for women and girls. So, I have nothing but praise for Flavor Flav. That's amazing. And I'd much rather go hang out in Las Vegas with him than go eat a Big Mac at the White House with Donald Trump. So,
oh my God, no doubt. And let me just say this too. There are 6 women from Minnesota that were on the team too, that were from Minnesota, and there's of course people that played with both the Gophers and the Badgers and are in the professional hockey realm. But I just wanted to, try and get the Minnesota one up on you there. Of course, when we're talking sports. I have to really ask you, to me, other than the women's hockey, which I just adored, Alicia Liu is a daughter of an immigrant and a political refuge, and she was unbelievable and got a gold medal. Good on her.
yeah, and her long program was like incredible. Like I was, when I watched it, there were parts where I was holding my breath because it was just amazing.
Yeah.
And I also have to mention, as a point of pride, that she skated to a Donna Summer song, Donna Summer being the namesake of the inspiration from my roller derby name, Donna Stunner. So tickled me to see that.
And then MacArthur Park, the Madison Scouts played MacArthur Park in 1975. I just wanted to throw that out there.
I mean, MacArthur Park is a great song, but she performed amazing. And I think the other thing that I also want to mention is the way that the women's figure skaters really supported each other. When one skater was getting to like, she was upset, another skater came and like tried to like block the cameras from her so she could have her moment, and they were all encouraging of each other. And these are all competitors, and like, to me, that's the best in sports. That's the best of sports. You go out there, you do your best. Sometimes your best is good enough to win. Sometimes, you try your best and you fall, and it's okay. It's okay, if you don't win. And these women were just remarkable in their displays of support for each other. It made me happy to see.
Well, also too, I want to go back to Elisa Liu, who took 2 years off and did it her way and took control and what she was eating and what she listened to and all those things that, can be really harsh on young people.
Mm-hmm.
She took 2 years off and did it her own way. And the joy of doing that came through the TV unbelievably here. The joy of it.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, I think that kind of thing is like, it's an important part for getting that toxicity out of sports, that toxicity that says this is what your body shape needs to look like. You cannot weigh over this much. You need to, your hair needs to be a certain way. And you have to put in all of this, and you cannot take time to rest. You cannot take time to enjoy anything else. Dedication is one thing, but you don't have to. It's not healthy to devote your entire being to one thing.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be well-rounded people. There are things that make us all happy in different areas, different fields, and we should be able to be full human while being athletes.
Well, and I truly believe when it comes to being an athlete that they should play as many sports as they can and not all of a sudden get pigeonholed at 12 years old that you're going to be a baseball player or a basketball player or whatever. Some of the best athletes like Paul Molitor, I know you like Paul Molitor. Paul played and Joe Mauer played football, and baseball. They played all the sports.
Yeah, and actually I was watching one of the Olympic fluff pieces, and they were talking about how Norway encourages their youth to participate in outdoor sports, as athletics, as sports, as moving your body, but also being a part of nature. And they say that they think that that's why Norway is always so dominant in the Winter Games.
Wow, there you have it. Hey, we're here with Arvina Matin, and that was our sports section. We're going to go back to trashing Trump, I think. This is Native Roots Radio. We'll be right back. Oh, wow.
This is Chase Iron Eyes announcing a new show on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota, powered by Native Roots Radio. The show is called Native American Patriot Talk Radio. What will we do on the show? We are going to explore and dive into the source of American constitutional sovereignty, the intersection of Native American and legal issues. Find us the first and third Tuesday of every month at 6 p.m. on AM 950.
Support comes from the Walker Arts Center, an art space that's more than the spoon and cherry. Galleries celebrate contemporary visual art, including indigenous artists like Edgar Heap of Birds from the Cheyenne and Arapaho nations, and Jim Demeny from the Ojibwe Nation. Additionally, film screens, cinema, and performances are shown on stage. And the Walker is free every Thursday night and free every day for citizens and members of tribal nations. Learn more at walkerart.org.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Oh, this is Robert Pilot. For Native relatives, healing is more than just sobriety. It's reclaiming indigenous masculinity as a sacred, balanced force. Join Hunter Thundercloud for Native Roots Radio presents Controlled Fire. We explore how personal recovery uplifts our communities. It's time men step back into roles as mentors and spiritual leaders. Recovery is collective, and it starts with us. Tune in the first and third Wednesday of every month at 6 p.m. for Native Roots Radio presents Controlled Fire. Let's tend the fire together. Support comes from the Walker Arts Center. Did you know that the Walker has a cinema that shows film almost every week? From artist talks, genre-defined performances, and world premieres to archival shorts and experimental soundscapes, the Walker Cinema explores all modes of global and local filmmaking. Get your first tickets for free. Visit walkerart.org/cinema to learn more. That's walkerart.org/cinema. See you at the movies. Rebuilding Together Minnesota provides critical home repairs and safety modifications at no cost to low-income homeowners, with a focus on supporting BIPOC communities across Minnesota, because everyone deserves a safe place to live. If repairs feel out of reach, help is available. Their work helps older adults stay independent, support families, and strengthens neighborhoods. Apply during the application window through March 31st. Visit rtmn.org and select Apply for Help, or call 651-776-4273. Rebuilding Together Minnesota, where neighbors help neighbors. Support comes from the Walker Arts Center. Local artist Rosie Simas, Seneca Nation of Indians, Huron Clan, embodies Onondaga philosophies of peacemaking and relationality in new immersive installation. Visit Age Jagwa Desnigowaweni. I hope it'll stir your mind and explore a space built for communal rest and contemplation. Seamus presents a performance of the same name this May. Learn more about the exhibition and performance at walkerart.org.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, cloudy with a low of 16, then Thursday, sunshine with a high of 42. The Great Wall has been your home for Chinese favorites since 1981. Don't miss the sesame chicken, mushu pork with Chinese pancakes, or Peking duck. Stop in at the restaurant on France Avenue and 45th Street along the Minneapolis-Edina City line, or check them out at greatwallrestaurant.us.
AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Oh, this is Dallas Goldtooth, and you're listening to the Native Roots Radio. Hoka, hicha, wecha.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back. We are here with our friend Arvina Matin. I should say our relative here, Arvina Matin, Ho-Chunk Nation citizen, and also our political consultant based out of Madison. And we talk about a lot of things here. And we just had our sports section. Do you have anything else you want to bring up on sports before we get down and dirty here and talk a little bit? I have a bingo card here I want to talk to you about from last night.
No, let's go straight into this. Go back to the speech. I said my piece.
Well, so here's a bingo card, and I that came up 2026 State of the Union Trump crash out bingo card, and reading this, I thought, well, I don't even have to watch the speech. Here it is. It's so I don't think, did he fall? Did Trump fall?
I didn't see any trips or falls.
Did he slur his words?
I mean, possibly, but
Okay.
I also want to say about, before we go to the next one, he had his mouth so close to the mic sometimes, and it was distorting. I thought he was going to blow the mic out. So we can continue.
Good one. And that's what I want, is a little comment in between. That's awesome. Trump mocks affordability as a made up word, the liberals made this word up.
I don't think he actually said that in those words, but he definitely was not, he was saying, oh yeah, everything's great. Again, don't believe what you see. It's great. You're winning. Aren't you sick of winning? So, and
again, did he try and make another country his 51st state in his speech last night?
I don't think so. But he did talk about attacking Venezuela, or I suppose it wasn't attacking, but removing Maduro.
Oh, and Iran too, right?
I don't think Iran came up. I mean, if it might have when I was zoned out a little bit due to all the blathering, but he certainly didn't bring up what was happening now. I think he did bring up previous problems in Iran, ones that were fine because of the Obama's era nuclear agreement that he cut up and is like, oh no.
Yes, geez. Okay, yeah. This one's definitely a good one. J.D. Vance and Mike Johnson look bored.
I mean, J.D. Vance always kind of had he always had his brow furrowed. You could see, as many of us refer to them, as his 11s between his eyebrows. But I thought Mike Johnson looked almost like catatonic with this like very generic, pleasant smile that he had to maintain for almost 2 hours straight because he knew he was going to be on the camera forever. But like,
he's super spooky, isn't he?
there's something about him that doesn't sit right with me. Besides all of like the lying and bootlicking and all of that and shirking of his congressional or his constitutional responsibilities, there is something beyond that I can't quite put my finger on that makes me give him the side eye.
Yes, that's a good one. And I know Ho Chunk aunties really like doing that too. So I've gotten a few
side eye?
side eyes.
Yeah.
Yes. Hey, Trump lies that other countries pay his tariffs.
Yeah. Yeah, that one came up.
Off script tangent. I probably couldn't tell because it all seemed like a tangent, didn't it?
Yeah, it really did. I mean, and there were lots of asides, saying these guys are crazy. I can't believe, and calling out Nancy Pelosi, and he certainly didn't stay on script the whole time.
Well, Trump mentions the stock market, which seems to be, a small percentage of people are in the stock market with their, if you're lucky enough to have a retirement and things like that.
Yeah.
Did he mention how great the stock market is?
He certainly did. And we know the people that he's truly representing, like the billionaires, are very pleased with it, but the stock market being that high doesn't really have a tremendous effect on the day-to-day prices of things that we all deal with every day.
Exactly. So Epstein was not mentioned, and that's one here. I know he does not want to mention that. Matter of fact, he wants to start a war, so we're not talking about it.
And kill American citizens, and I mean, like anything that he does that is out of pocket these days, we know he's doing because he does not want something about the Epstein files to come out and wants us all to forget about it.
Well, here's one of the good ones, and I'm sure that he did this, but I could be wrong, but I'm going to ask you. Trump rants about President Biden or President Obama.
Oh, Biden got many shout outs. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. You beat him. Move on.
Well, for years we wanted to change Native Roots Radio presents something. So it was presents I'm Awake. So we're woke here. Did he mention about us bad woke people at all?
A little bit. It wasn't a bunch, but he certainly did mention being woke, etc., and how it's not good.
So we didn't, or he didn't mention this, but I'll just read it again. Trump declares unnecessary illegal war. So he kind of stayed away from that, huh?
I mean, but TikTok, it'll probably happen at some point.
Oh, I don't know what this means. Oh, no, I do. I need new glasses, I think. Clean coal. How clean coal is and great for us.
There wasn't a mention of clean coal at all.
Any Nicki Minaj call out?
No, I was really hoping that we would get one, or that she would be there and he would somehow like call attention to her, like maybe she would be Melania's guest or something. I don't know. That's what I was hoping for, but
I listened to Stephanie Miller in the morning. They were talking about how he was just grabbing attention from everybody else. So he was globbing on to for instance, the Olympic hockey team and he was getting applause through that and feeling good. And there was other times where he did that.
He certainly did that when he honored certain veterans. There were two 100-year-old veterans that were there, one that had fought in World War II, one that had fought in Vietnam. And he talked about a man that was part of the mission to Venezuela. And when he talked about the events that they faced, he was exceptionally graphic. He likes talking about blood and gore, and it certainly was present there. And I felt like to me, like it felt a little invasive, and I did not need to know how much somebody bled to know that their injury was grave, and that they were brave in their actions. So I'm not. I really don't like gore. I don't like horror movies. I don't want to. It sucks.
That makes sense because I was listening to MS after it because again I couldn't stomach it, and that was one of the things they mentioned. They called it the blood and guts and gore speech, along with there was no like we talked about in the first segment. There was no looking ahead to the future of the United States in a good way. It was just all icky stuff.
There was no plan. There was no, he mentioned bills and said something in very basic language about, what he wanted us to think it would do. So, for instance, the SAVE Act. He mentioned that, which is the act that would require proving your citizenship in addition to your identity and requiring ID, which means, having to get like your birth certificate, which, if you don't live where your birth certificate is, that's very difficult. Passports,
or you get married,
and if your name does not match your birth certificate, you cannot vote. So anybody that's gotten married, anybody that's changed, maybe you had a hyphenated last name and you changed it to, make one a middle name or simplify it somehow. You had a hyphenated name, but then you're like, I'm only going to go by one. Any trans people who have changed their names, and that is, by design. They do not want women to vote, and I think he doesn't understand that they're all, even should this become the law, there are many women who do not change their names, and those women tend to be more liberal. So, when I was married, I did not change my name, because it was my name and I grew up with it, and that's what my diploma said,
Yep.
So I did not change my name. So that would not necessarily affect me, but having to spend money to get a passport, it's a poll tax, which is clearly not allowable by the Constitution.
Exactly. Well, I don't know. I guess we're done playing this game. We only got like a minute left, and I'd love to have the last segment for you to talk about what you want to talk about, and I also want to talk about, it's that time of year and bookings getting full to talk about your services and what you can do for people across the country and especially in Wisconsin. It's exciting that we have the opportunity here on Native Roots Radio and Civic Media and AM 950 and all the places that listen to us have you on as a guest and keep things straight and with your experience in the political game and can see things. So it's just, I know I super appreciate you being on the show, and I know a lot of people that listen to the show do.
I'm always happy to be here and talk with you about what's going on.
So we're gonna have a potpourri free for all next segment, and it's guest choice. Oh, wow.
Sounds good.
All right, right on. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and we're with our friend Arvina Matin, Ho-Chunk citizen, along with Robert Pilot, who's a Ho-Chunk citizen too. So we'll be right back after the short break. Support comes from the Walker Arts Center, an art space that's more than the spoon and cherry. Galleries celebrate contemporary visual art, including indigenous artists like Edgar Heap of Birds from the Cheyenne and Arapaho nations, and Jim Deminy from the Ojibwe Nation. Additionally, film screens, cinema, and performances are shown on stage. And the walker is free every Thursday night and free every day for citizens and members of tribal nations. Learn more at walkerart.org.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Rebuilding Together Minnesota provides critical home repairs and safety modifications at no cost to low-income homeowners, with a focus on supporting BIPOC communities across Minnesota, because everyone deserves a safe place to live. If repairs feel out of reach, help is available. Their work helps older adults stay independent, support families, and strengthens neighborhoods. Apply during the application window through March 31st. Visit rtmn.org and select Apply for Help, or call 651-776-4273. Rebuilding Together Minnesota, where neighbors help neighbors. Support comes from the Walker Arts Center. Did you know that the Walker has a cinema that shows film almost every week? From artist talks, genre-defined performances, and world premieres to archival shorts and experimental soundscapes, the Walker Cinema explores all modes of global and local filmmaking. Get your first tickets for free. Visit walkerart.org/cinema to learn more. That's walkerart.org/cinema. See you at the movies.
Hi, it's Dr. Evan Adams, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio. Hey, Victor, you better be listening.
In this portion of the show, we'd like to bring awareness to our wolf and bear populations throughout Turtle Island. Say no to the hunts.
Oh! Always
Right on. Hey, right on. I love it. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and we're back, and we're with our friend Arvina Matin, who's our political consultant and is just a joy to have on the show. Arvina, before we get going on the potpourri and what you'd like to talk about, I just want people to know how they can get a hold of you and kind of what you do.
Yeah, I have experience in the political field, and I do lots of trainings. I can help do trainings on how to run campaigns, the different parts of how to run a campaign. I also have a Tribes 101 presentation that I give to teach candidates and political parties and elected officials about why it's important to work with tribes, why we're not special interest groups, what tribal sovereignty is, and how to work as good peer governments with tribes, as well as how to engage and organize in Indian country. And if you would like to, have me come and help you guys out and give a training, please find me on LinkedIn. I'm the only Arvina Matin present at the moment. And we can talk and we can figure out what kind of trainings you would like to do, and how I can help out your organization or your group.
Awesome. Yes. And I've seen you in action, and what a great joy, and what compelling information you have for our relatives and people like myself that always needs a good refresher course about who I am.
We all need reminders from time to time.
So here we go. This is your segment. What are you thinking? Are you still upset about Trump, or where are we leading forward? I know there was one of our relatives put up an saw ice in Black River Falls, and looking at the app Ice Out, there's some in Madison right now. This is just ick.
Yeah, I guess what I want to do is take this time to encourage continual engagement from everybody who is listening. We get to these points because people aren't paying attention, or the process has made it such so you are not able to participate in the election process because you have to work, because you have to take care of your kids or your elder relatives or things like that. we have spring elections coming up here in Wisconsin. We have our state Supreme Court with Chris Taylor, Judge Chris Taylor from here in Dane County, who's a remarkable judge who has, she is intelligent, she's very smart, she does her research, and she deserves your vote in April for state Supreme Court. You're also going to have lots of local races on your ballot. There are municipalities that have their city or town or village councils or boards that they're up for re-election. We've got various county board members that are up for re-election. And these folks at the local level are really the people who are going to be able to help you with things that are affecting your everyday life. Things like I need help accessing something healthcare wise. I need help with the pothole that's been at the bottom of my street, in the intersection, or this intersection is dangerous and needs, pedestrian lighting. These roads are terrible. They need to be repaired. These are the things that you contact your local representatives for. And this is the time when you get to elect those people. So, you should be paying attention, take this anger and this helplessness that you feel, and you can put it into action. And one of the ways to put that into action is by voting. This is how we get in Madison. We are one of Trump's dreaded sanctuary cities. And that is because we elected leaders that believe in providing safety for our neighbors. And so that's how you get leadership like that. And then it's going to continue. It's only going to continue through the midterms. So, look and see who's declared, who is running. For fall elections, we're probably not going to know. We won't have solid candidates until know exactly who's running until the end of May. But start looking at people that are talking about running. Maybe you want to run for office yourself. And think about that, and give it serious consideration about what good you can do and give back to your community. So, this is the time to start talking about people in Wisconsin. We have a very large field for the Democratic nominee for governor. So, take a look at all of those candidates. Each and every one of them is going to be better than the presumed Republican nominee, Tom Tiffany, who I might say does not respect tribal sovereignty. And I would not trust him in negotiations with any tribe in Wisconsin. He has failed that test as a member of Congress, hugely, to quote the president. And so start paying attention, see who you like, maybe even get involved in their campaign. You can do things like host house parties, invite your friends over to meet a candidate, go volunteer, help folks knock doors, make phone calls. There's lots of things that you can do to get involved in the political process, in addition to voting. And so these are things that you can do, when you're not in the middle of fighting federal agents in your city. So, this is, on the hierarchy of needs, protecting your community is number one. And unfortunately, too many of us have to protect our communities through scary ways. Up higher, we need to be thinking about who is in office and pay attention to what the higher ups are saying, what Trump is saying about voter fraud. Spoiler alert, voter fraud is very rare. And the majority of the time that it happens in error, in legit error. Somebody didn't realize that they had already voted, for something, and then they accidentally voted twice, or they voted in the wrong place, things like that. That is the majority of illegal voting. There are masses of illegal voting.
Sorry. And what's happened lately too is there's been some convictions, and they've all been Republicans. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
Much like the fact that they are so concerned about the safety of little children from pedophiles, but the ones that are getting arrested, they're for CSA or things like that, they are on the Republican side. So pay attention to who's saying what. Look at valued and trusted sites for information. The League of Women Voters is always great place to look for information. The ACLU, find those trusted sources in your community and do the research. I don't mean do your research in the I'm anti-vax and I do my research kind of way. That doesn't mean talking to people that necessarily believe you. Go out and search actual sources.
Wow, Arvina Martin, thank you so much. As always, a great show, and I really appreciate you. Again, look for her on LinkedIn, Arvina Martin, one of the only Arvina Martin so far that's on LinkedIn.
Got a couple of years.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great night, and we'll see you next week.
Sounds good.
Hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and we'll see you tomorrow. We got the Lieutenant Governor's husband on, and of course, Robert Lilligren. We'll see you tomorrow. Oh.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots